Okay, I want to start with a question. How many of you have ever promised yourself just 5 more minutes of scrolling, but look up and realize that an hour has vanished? 我想问一个问题，你们中曾有多少人对自己保证再刷5分钟手机，然后但是一抬头发现1个小时已经过去了？ That was me every single day. Until one summer, something unusual happened. A video game that taught me the lesson that social media never could. It teaches me to notice details in our life. So, before I met this, embraces myself in scrolling short videos such as like TikToks, while eating dinner with my family, while on taxi, and also while bored every time. And I scroll it whenever I have free time. I know, however, that this is not good, that I had to stop, but I couldn't. I don't know what else to do while I got time. I always find excuses for keeping scrolling, and then started to feel guilty about doing nothing, especially during holidays. Like, the small promise of just 5 more minutes became a daily cycle of distraction and regret. Every night, I would start to blame myself. You have wasted another day. That massive feeling of emptiness and guilt envelopes me and causing me unable to fall asleep. And that is basically me during the holidays, until I met this game. It's called Red Dead Redemption 2, and it was regarded as the best game ever. And when I started the game, I was impressed by its excellent graphic performance, as you can see in this picture, but really did not understand why it got such a high reputation. Everything was just so slow. I had to drive a wagon down a boring mountain road and listening to the NPC talk about random stuff, which feels like an eternity. However, days after, I play it continuously for 8 hours straight each day. And you may ask me why. What happened? It's because for the first time, I slowed down enough to notice the beauty, even in the pixels. I found out this wasn't about beating levels or earning points. I started to fall in love with the world developers built. The way the sunlight filtered through the pine trees, the rhythmic tick-tock of the horse, the story of every character I met. In fact, I often ignore my missions entirely. I would just ride. I would just explore every corner of the map, not just to find a reward, but just to see what was there, and to listen and to be present. And suddenly, I carried that practice into my real life. That is when I really started to feel alive. When that digital practice in mindfulness blended into my reality, I started to notice the symphony of birdsong outside my window that I would previously drown out with my headphones. I feel the warmth of the sun on my skin and truly appreciate the deep comfort of my bed. I started seeing the world not as a backdrop of my phone screen, but as the main event. I discovered that the ability to practice and experience the beauty of the world is our most essential skill, and it's one skill that I believe everyone needs to reclaim. You may wonder, what is the point of noticing all this beauty anyway? What does it matter to me? So, one day I came across a silly meme about 2 seagulls arguing over the meaning of life, which is this one. I believe most of you have seen. And one of them said, my life goal is just to get some fries on the dock. It sounds ridiculous, but it hits me. Maybe the point isn't always to get some distance and great ambition. Maybe it's just to get the fries that are right in front of you. It presents a new perspective of life. Living present rather than chasing for something in the far future. In fact, if you push any goal further, money, career, and also family, it usually comes down to the same thing. We want to be happy. So my question is, why rushing through all your days without noticing the joy right beside you, but chasing for something far away and elusive? Happiness is available to us right now, if we choose to notice it, just like the seagull do. It's in the taste of those fries. It's in the breeze of the air condition on your body as you walk into the shopping mall. It's also in the shared laugh with a friend. It's in the greeting of a stranger. And this isn't just a nice idea. It's a practice backed by science for improving our mental and physical health. Studies have proved that engagement in the world will help people to reduce stress from their work and enhance creativity and lead to a healthier life. For example, California Polytechnic State University and Utah State University conducted a research and find out that listening to birdsong even for just 7 to 10 minutes has been proved to enhance feeling of well-being and mental restoration. Similarly, simply taking a moment to look at the sky has been proven to boost our mood. So, embracing the world is a direct source of sustainable, accessible happiness. Noticing the subtle details in our environment, in ourselves, and in our relationships isn't a passive act. It's an active cultivation of a richer, healthier, and more creative life, which leads to the most important question, like how? How do we do it? How do we break ourselves from our daily routine and train ourselves to notice more? My experience from the game might be hard to recreate. However, I can conclude my experience into a set of starting points that may work for most of you. So, first, begin with something you already enjoy. If you really cannot think of a thing that to put yourself into, I have a good starting point, which is your favorite song. Let me ask you, how long haven't you been listening to a song in full focus, like not while driving, not while working, not while running, but only listening to the music itself? The first time I tried, I was shocked at how many details I have missed, like the subtle percussion instrument behind the scene, the piano floating on top of the vocals, and even a line of lyrics that I suddenly resonated with more deeply. So today, right before you go to bed, just listen to your favorite song at full focus, no screen, no multitasking. I bet you will also realize there are so many more details in the song. A great song is composed of the songwriter's heart and effort, and there is always more to find out. That kind of focus changed how I listen, not only to music, but also to life. Suddenly, I started noticing the small details around me, like the smell of the grass on the playground, the way a friend says hello, and even the difference between two brands of water. It's like the world have always been speaking to me, but now I finally have the practice and the patience to listen. And here's another thing I have learned. It's not about doing more. It's actually about paying full attention into what you are already doing. So there was this movie I watched recently. It's called About Time. The main character could travel back in time, but in the end, he chose not to. He decided to simply live each day as if he had chosen it, with full attention and no regrets. That is exactly the practice, showing up fully for the ordinary moments. It's not as easy as it sounds because it's not about only slowing down. It's about fighting habits. Try this. Eat a meal with your phone without your phone and actually taste every bite of the meal. Or when a friend makes a dumb joke, don't just smile politely. Laugh out loud or say what you really think instead of what's safe. These things sound simple, but they are surprisingly hard. The trick, at least for me, is to remind myself every day. Pay attention and be here. So it feels awkward at first, but slowly your mind adjusts. And then one day you will realize you are not just surviving your days anymore. You are actually living them. The skill to notice details and embrace the world isn't something you seek sudden enlightenment on. It's a skill you practice. Looking back, I thought that I was just wasting time playing a game. But what it really gives me was the practice. Practice in slowing down, in noticing details, in paying attention. And once I learned that skill in a digital world, I could bring it into the real one. The truth is, the world we live in is already more beautiful, more alive, and more detailed than any video game ever made. We just forget to look. So, if there is one thing that I hope you to take away from my story, it's this. You don't need a controller to play. You just need to press start. Thank you very much.